My Narcissist Dysfunctional Life, Part 2. Well, they dated for a while, like I had said. Finally, she pressured him into marrying her. Said, what the hell, we've been going out for so long. You're seeing other women, what are you doing? They wound up getting married. At that time, we had moved shortly before that to an apartment next door to the condo that he had bought on Sheridan Road. We were in an older building, a 13-story building. There was a space in between the two buildings, so they saw each other all the time. We lived there for about a year. He had bought the condo on Sheridan Road about a year after the incident that happened on Berry Street, where I came in on the two of them. We would go over there all the time. She had keys to the apartment. She would go in periodically. Well, the end result is the two of them got married. Now I'm living with two narcissists, a covert and an overt narcissist. And between the two of them, I'm damned. Well, there were certain advantages to living in the building there on Sheridan Road by the Outer Drive. First of all, it was a fancy-looking building. The units themselves, when the building was built, were really not that expensive. It was a 26-story building. The building had a swimming pool, a sun deck, and it was great in the summertime. It was actually almost like a pickup spot. It was right next to the beach and the rocks. It was real easy to go down to the beach, talk to girls, bring them back, have a lot of inappropriate sex with them. I became friends with the lifeguard, always friends with the lifeguards. They were always young people. They had a rule. You couldn't be a lifeguard and live in the building. Well, that rule ended eventually, but that's another story. Quite often we would go down after one of the lifeguards got off shift that I was friends with, go down to the beach, talk to them, invite them back to the pool. Usually it was great. Sometimes they wouldn't be working. My mom and my stepdad would be at work. We'd pick up the women around 11 o'clock. By 5 o'clock, they'd be gone. We would have had a little swimming, a little sex, and tell them that we're going to hook up with them again. And after about a week or two, break up with them. It was all very superficial. It was the 70s, the 80s, the end of the 70s, the 80s. From probably 75, 74 maybe on, people were just like Saturday Night Fever, hooking up. It was very narcissistic. Relationships that lasted a week, 2 weeks. we'd walk over to the Captain's Walk, which was in Malibu East. The cashiers there were kind of loose as far as the sale of alcohol. Buy a couple 6-packs of beer, pick up a few women at the beach. It was, the 70s. If anyone wants to get an idea what it was like, take a look at the movie Dazed and Confused. There were a lot of people smoking pot, a lot of people doing all sorts of drugs, and the morals were not there. It was the me generation, very dysfunctional, superficial gratification. A lot of fun. Probably one of the reasons that the AIDS epidemic, or one of the main reasons that the AIDS epidemic spread so like wildfire, was because of how people were back then. I know that in high school, my average relationship with girls lasted no more than 3 or 4 months, if I was lucky. And really not that much time in between women. There were parties all the time on the weekend. You'd hook up with someone at a party, go out with them a few times, and after a couple of weeks, break up for some stupid reason. I had a series of lovers, even hooked up with a couple of women in high school that were bi. They were fun ones. Had a couple of threesomes. Even had a threesome with a woman at a party who actually took on 2 guys, me and another guy at the same time. We didn't touch, but talk about being a little promiscuous. The woman I went to prom with was a friend. We had hooked up a few times, and I really didn't have a steady girlfriend at the time. They were just hookups. So we went there, had a great time. Now that I think about it, I wish I never would have went. I wish I would have been a little more serious. I wish I would have had different parents. But that's life. But getting back to the narcissism in my life, I probably never felt worthy for a while to be in a long-term relationship. Shortly after I got out of high school, I met this girl. I kind of fell for her a little hard. It was probably sympathy. She told everyone that she had cancer. The truth of the matter is she was a lying sack of shit. She didn't have it. She just played a game. Just used people. It hurt me a great deal. Made it hard for me to trust. I don't know what would be so trustworthy. I'm raised by narcissists. I have narcissistic tendencies. I don't want them. I try not to have them. But I wonder, when I'm trying to do something for someone, am I trying to get something? I started questioning everything I did in life. This didn't happen until recently, though. I don't even know. It's scary to be this old and this fucked up.